The future of law is being shaped by innovation, and at the heart of this transformation lies legal AI. In this episode, we'll explore how technology is revolutionizing legal practice, enhancing efficiency, and unlocking new possibilities for professionals and clients alike. Stay tuned as we dive into these groundbreaking advancements. Welcome to this episode of Legal Tech with Alphalect.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going deep on AI and how it's shaking up the legal world. We've got a whole stack of sources to give you a clear picture of how AI is transforming the legal scene. So if you want to get up to speed quickly, you're in the right place. We'll cover how AI is changing the game for lawyers, the ethical stuff we got to think about, what this means for legal careers, and some potential bumps in the road. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, it's a field that's changing so fast, it's hard to keep up with. The implications are huge, and things are moving faster than most people realize.
Exactly why we're here. Something that really jumped out at me was how AI is revolutionizing legal research and analysis. It's mind-blowing.
Oh yeah, AI tools can go through tons of legal documents and cases super fast. Think about a lawyer working on a tough intellectual property case. They need to find precedents, rulings to back up their arguments, and that stuff can be buried in decades of legal history. An AI tool can do that in a fraction of the time it would take us, humans. And sometimes even find those obscure but super important precedents that human researchers might miss completely.
There was a crazy example about this. They talked about this AI tool, Paraleg AI, which is free, by the way, and how it was used in a patent dispute. It dug up a precedent from some seemingly random case from the 70s that ended up being the key to the client winning. Even the experienced lawyers on the case hadn't found that precedent.
It's a game changer for sure. And not just about speed, it's accuracy and being thorough too. AI tools are trained on so much data they can spot connections and patterns we humans might miss.
So it's like having a super smart research assistant that never sleeps, right? One that can scan thousands of documents in minutes. Makes you wonder how this is changing how lawyers approach cases.
It's a huge shift. Being able to analyze that much data fast means lawyers can focus more on strategy. They can spend time crafting the best legal strategy and building those all-important client relationships.
Right, so instead of being stuck doing research for hours, they can focus on the parts of the job that need that human touch.
Exactly. It's not about replacing lawyers. It's about giving them the tools to be even better.
And it goes way beyond legal research. It's also talked about how AI is being used to streamline due diligence, especially for big deals like mergers.
Due diligence used to be a ton of work. You had to go over contracts, financial statements, all these documents to find potential risks. Now we have AI tools specifically designed to do that.
They mentioned this platform called Legal Sifter. What's the deal with that?
Okay, imagine you're a lawyer working on a merger. Instead of spending days going through hundreds of pages of contracts, you upload it to Legal Sifter. The AI looks at it in minutes and flags anything that could be a problem, like missing clauses, bad terms, or inconsistencies that could put the client at risk. It's basically like having a bunch of experienced lawyers looking over the contract at the same time.
Wow, that's incredible. And what I thought was cool is Legal Sifter doesn't just point out problems. It actually suggests solutions in different language.
Right. It doesn't just find problems, it actually helps solve them. It gives you insights and recommendations, which makes the whole due diligence process way faster and reduces the chances of human error.
So saving time, improving accuracy, and potentially saving clients a lot of money and headaches.
Exactly. It's all about minimizing risk and making sure deals are structured in the best way possible.
And this isn't just for mergers and acquisitions either, right? It's mentioned using AI for analyzing real estate contracts and employment agreements. Seems like any area of law where you're dealing with tons of documents can benefit from this tech.
Totally. And as the technology gets better, we're going to see even more uses. New AI tools are popping up all the time for different areas of law.
It really makes you wonder how this will affect the legal profession in the future. We've talked about research and due diligence, but what about other tasks? Is AI starting to do anything else that lawyers used to handle?
One thing pointed out is document management and automation. Think of things like generating contracts, where AI can draft standard contracts based on templates and client info. Or legal billing, AI can track hours, make invoices, even handle payments.
Makes sense. Those tasks can take up so much time, and you don't always need a lawyer's expertise for them.
Exactly. By automating that stuff, lawyers have more time for the important things, like strategy, complex arguments, and working with clients. It's all about using technology to be more efficient and a better lawyer.
So AI is already changing how lawyers work, and it's only going to become more common. But it also brought up something else that was really interesting.
What's that?
They said AI could actually lead to new types of legal work. It's not just about AI changing existing tasks. It's about AI creating new challenges that need human lawyers.
That's fascinating. What kind of new legal work could AI create?
Well, let's say a company uses AI to decide who to hire. What if that AI turns out to be biased, favoring some candidates over others? That brings up a ton of questions about algorithmic bias, liability, and the need for rules about using AI in hiring. And those are questions that lawyers will need to figure out.
That's a perfect example. AI isn't just changing how we do law, it's changing the law itself. We'll need new laws, new rules to deal with the challenges and opportunities that AI is creating.
And that means lawyers will need to become experts in new areas. They'll need to understand how AI works, how to interpret what it produces, and how to apply legal principles to these brand new situations.
It's a super exciting time to be in law. Lots of change, but also a ton of opportunities for those who are willing to adapt.
I totally agree. Feels like we're at the start of a huge shift, and it's amazing to see how AI is reshaping the legal world right in front of us.
It really is a dynamic time to be working in law.
Yeah.
And as we talk about AI changing the legal landscape, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how lawyers are adapting to these changes.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's one thing to talk about AI, but it's another thing entirely to actually use it in your work. So how are lawyers approaching this? What are they doing to get ready for this AI-driven future?
Actually give some really good advice for legal professionals who are ready to jump into AI. The first step, and probably the most important one, is education.
So it's about understanding the basics of AI, right? Like how it works, what it can do, and what it can't do.
Exactly. Lawyers need a basic understanding of AI before they can really use it effectively. Think back to when legal research went from libraries to online databases. That required a new way of thinking, new skills to use those digital resources. AI is similar. Lawyers need to learn how to work in this new world.
And luckily, there are tons of resources out there to help them, like online courses and workshops. These resources can help lawyers learn the basics of AI and how to use it in different areas of law.
Absolutely. And there are even some great free resources like the webinars from the Legal Technology Resource Center. They cover everything from AI basics to how to use it in specific legal situations.
It's fantastic that these resources are so easy to find. It makes it easier for everyone to start using AI, no matter how big or small their firm is. But it's not just about the theory, is it?
No. Definitely not. It's also about learning how to use specific AI tools like case text and Lex Machina.
Oh yeah, Lex Machina was really interesting to me. It uses AI to analyze litigation data, predict case outcomes, and even give insights into how judges might rule. Imagine how helpful it would be for a lawyer to know how a judge might rule or how long a trial could last.
Exactly. Lex Machina can be a really powerful tool for planning legal strategy. Let's say you're working on a motion to dismiss in a contract case. Lex Machina can analyze similar cases, see what arguments worked before, and predict if the motion will be granted. It could save your client a lot of time and money.
It's amazing how AI is changing how lawyers think about strategy. It's not just about intuition and experience anymore. They can use data to make better decisions.
It's a powerful combination. AI provides the data, and humans use their expertise to understand and use that data strategically.
And it's not just about understanding the data, right? You also need to understand the tool itself, knowing its strengths, weaknesses, and how to interpret the results it gives you.
Absolutely. You can't just blindly trust any technology, especially AI.
Lawyers need to be critical, question the results, and think about potential bias or errors. So it's about finding a balance between human expertise and what AI can do. Using AI as a tool to make better judgments, not to replace human judgment altogether.
Exactly. And that means lawyers need a new set of skills. It's not just about knowing the law anymore. It's also about understanding data, algorithms, and the ethics of using AI.
Speaking of ethics, really emphasized how important it is for lawyers to be aware of the ethical issues around AI. They specifically mentioned data privacy and being transparent with clients.
That's a really important point. Just because the technology is powerful and efficient doesn't mean we can ignore the ethical implications.
Can you talk a bit more about how data privacy and transparency are relevant to legal AI?
Sure. Let's say there's an AI tool that helps with legal research. To build that tool, developers might use a ton of data, including court documents, contracts, and other sensitive information. It's super important to make sure the data is anonymized and used in a way that protects client confidentiality.
So lawyers need to really check the AI tools they use, right? Make sure the developers have a good track record of protecting data and following regulations.
Absolutely. And it's not just about keeping data safe. Lawyers also need to be open with their clients about how they're using AI.
It's about explaining to clients how the technology works, what data is used, and what's being done to protect their information.
Exactly. It's about trust and making sure clients feel comfortable and informed about how AI is being used in their cases.
And it's not just about staying up to date on the technology, right? It's also about keeping up with the laws and ethical guidelines that govern its use.
For sure. Laws and regulations about AI and data privacy are constantly changing. Lawyers need to keep learning, go to seminars, read legal journals, and do professional development to stay informed.
So being a lawyer in the age of AI means you have to be even more diligent and keep learning new things.
You definitely do. But I think it's also a really exciting chance for the legal profession to change and get better. AI is making us rethink how we practice law, how we serve clients, and how we prepare for the future.
It feels like we're at the start of a whole new era in law, and the possibilities are endless. But as we use these new technologies, we need to be thoughtful and responsible. We need to consider the ethical side and make sure AI is used to make things fairer for everyone.
I couldn't agree more. It takes collaboration and ongoing discussion to figure out the role of AI in our society.
And that's something we need to be aware of as AI becomes more common, not just in law, but in all parts of life. But before we get into those bigger societal issues, let's go back to the practical side of AI and law. We've talked about how it's changing how lawyers work, but what about its impact on law firms? How will it affect how law firms grow and change in the future? We've been talking about how AI is changing things for individual lawyers, but what about its impact on entire firms? Suggested AI could really change the game for law firm growth, both big and small.
Yeah, for sure. AI can kind of even the playing field. In the past, smaller firms often had a hard time competing with the big guys, especially when it came to research. But now with AI research tools, a small firm or even a solo lawyer can access the same huge legal databases as the giants.
So it's like they suddenly have this superpower. They're not just keeping up. They can actually compete head to head.
Exactly. And it goes beyond research. AI can take care of a lot of those administrative tasks that can really bog down smaller firms. Things like document review, contract analysis, even billing. That frees up lawyers to focus on the work that really needs their expertise, like working directly with clients and strategic planning.
It sounds like AI could be a huge help for solo practitioners and small firms, giving them a way to compete more effectively with the big players. But how about the bigger firms? How are they likely to be affected by AI becoming more common?
Larger firms definitely have a head start when it comes to resources and infrastructure. They can afford to invest in those fancy AI systems and hire people specifically to manage them. But that doesn't mean they can just ignore the changes AI is bringing.
So even the big firms need to adapt.
Absolutely. Clients are getting more tech savvy, and they expect their law firms to be using the latest tech, AI included, to deliver better and more cost-effective service. If the big firms don't keep up with innovation, they could lose clients to those smaller, more adaptable competitors who are embracing AI.
It's like that saying, disrupt or be disrupted. And it's not just about keeping clients happy, it's about attracting and holding on to top talent too.
Right. The up-and-coming generation of lawyers, they've grown up with AI all around them. They're going to be looking for firms that are on the cutting edge of tech and using AI to create a more exciting and dynamic work environment.
Feels like AI is pushing the whole legal industry to rethink how it operates, pushing both big and small firms to be more innovative, more client-focused, and more tech-savvy.
And that's a good thing in the end. Competition leads to innovation. AI is pushing the legal field to be more efficient, more accessible, and better at responding to what clients need.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation. We've covered so much, from the power of AI to the ethical stuff and how it might impact law firms. But as we wrap up, I want to come back to something we've touched on throughout our discussion, how important the human element is in law.
That's super important. AI is a great tool, but it's just that, a tool. It can't replace human judgment, empathy, or creativity. In fact, I think those qualities are going to become even more important as AI becomes more common in law.
They said that AI will probably change what skills are considered most valuable in lawyers.
Yeah, they said that technical skills and understanding data will be super important, but it's those uniquely human skills that will really make a difference. Things like critical thinking, problem solving, communication, negotiation, and being able to build relationships and understand the little things in human interactions. Those are the skills that AI can't do.
It's almost like AI is giving us space to be more human, to focus on the parts of law that are really about people and what they need.
I love that way of putting it. AI can handle the routine tasks and the data-heavy stuff. But it's us, the human lawyers, who will ultimately guide the strategy, fight for our clients, and make sure justice is done.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I feel like I have a much clearer understanding of how AI is changing the legal world, and it's pretty exciting to see it happening. But like with any new technology, there are always questions.
Definitely. We're just at the beginning of this AI revolution, and there's still a lot we don't know about how it'll end up changing the legal world.
So as we finish up, I'll leave you with this thought. Knowing what you know now about how AI could affect the legal system, how do you think law schools should adapt to prepare future lawyers for this new reality?
That's a great question, and it's something law schools are wrestling with right now. We need to make sure future lawyers have a solid understanding of legal principles, but they also need the skills and knowledge to work in a world where AI is everywhere.
It's a big challenge, but also a huge opportunity. We have a chance to shape the future of law and make sure AI is used to make things more just and fair for everyone.
Absolutely. It's a future worth fighting for.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI and the law. We hope you found it helpful and interesting. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep learning.